My kid came home today with so much fucking Play-Doh stuck to the bottom of his shoe.
God damn!
And he was like, Mom, I have Play-Doh on my shoe. And I was like, where? And then he showed me the top of his foot. And I was like, I don't see any Play-Doh. And then he's like, is it this foot? And then he looked at his other foot. And he was like, it's this foot. And I was looking at it. I was like, I don't see any Play-Doh. And then he like lifted it up all the way. And it was the bottom of his foot. And it was fucking covered in Play-Doh. Like he had plastered it to the bottom of his shoe. And I was like, what the fuck have you been doing? Like he was at daycare. You're just running around their house with fucking Play-Doh on your shoes?
Dude, kids can go forever with weird shit happening, and it won't matter until they have to, like, settle down and eat dinner or something. And they're like, I can't eat dinner. I have this bug bite. And it sucks.
Literally, every time we sit down for dinner, my kid's like, Mom, I have to poop.
Every fucking time.
And I'm like, of course you fucking do. Of course you do. Go ahead.
Go poop.
Yeah, but he's only 3, so he's like, can you help me go poop? And I'm like, yeah.
Dude, my kid's hitting that age now where I'm like, you gotta learn to wipe, because I'm getting fucking sick of you yelling, Mom! I'm done!
Yeah.
Like, bro, you got fucking hands. Figure it out. And he's like, that's gross. I'm like, yeah, I know.
That's why I don't want to do it anymore.
Dude, Jesus Christ.
Dude,
kids are hard.
my kid tried to wipe his, and he was like, I got in there because he was like, can you help me go poop? And I was like, yeah. And then I didn't hear him yell for me. And so then I went up there, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And he was like pulling up his underwear. And I was like, you all done?
What happened?
Like, you done here? What's going on? And he was like, yeah, I wiped. I'm good. And I was like, let me check it out first, you know? Like,
it's going to be itchy later.
I'm gonna check out, make sure that everything is good.
We have some skid marks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess this can just roll into my goddamn.
Okay, perfect. That's a great segue.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. And I looked at him and I was like, oh, let's pull these britches back down and figure out what's going on here. And there was shit up his back. Like he had wiped and then just went like, whoop, like
just, the whole turd just like ran it up.
Just like a marker up his back.
So Play-Doh on his foot and shit on his back.
Shit all over his back.
You're nailing it.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, well,
there's that.
Fucking take all this off again.
Actually.
Give you a bath real quick.
Is that what you had to do?
Yeah.
Like, is that bad?
Yeah, well, I mean, I cleaned it up. Like, I could wipe it off. But you know how, like, for some reason, if you wipe poop off of, like, your butthole, it's fine. Like, I wiped and it's fine. But literally, if it's on your thigh and you wipe it, you're like, that needs to be washed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that needs disgusting.
Soap. Which is why everybody is like, that's why bidets are a thing.
Yeah, I know. And I should just fucking get one. Everybody has one.
I know. They're like on, Amazon. I was like, TikTok, Etsy, Amazon.
What other social media? God. I've always been against it just because I feel like water touching on my beehole would be a little bit disconcerting at first. But
like aggressive?
Yeah. But I feel like you'd get
little
used to
Poseidon's kiss, you know?
That needs to be the name of a bidet. Like, oh, we have the Tushy, we have the Extra Clean, or we have the Poseidon's Kiss. And you're like, oh,
fucking wrecks your
asshole.
asshole.
Fucking Cadillac of bidets.
It like blows a warm breeze on after.
Oh my God, that'd be so fucking funny. Oh, all right. Well, I guess we gotta start making bidets.
You know what? You're right. I think we need to, like, that could be our promotional item when we go to Las Vegas Crime Con.
Yeah. When? Put that in the universe.
I said when.
I know.
Okay. I was like, just so you know, we are going.
Well, that's terrifying.
Oh, God. Okay, so you want to hear my goddamn?
I would love to.
I kind of have two, because you reminded me of a good one.
Uh-huh.
But my first one is, because you guys are going to hear it all throughout this fucking thing, is my kids were sick last week, and now that means that mom is sick this week. And it's not coronavirus, so everybody chill the fuck out. But I do have a lot of snot in my face, and it keeps, like, getting stuck in the back of my throat. Ugh. And then when we're recording, as you guys are going to hear on the Patreon, or see, I fucking hack up a lung randomly. It's like trying to kill me, my snot. Mm-hmm. It's a snot bubble. It's in my sinuses.
Yeah.
Trying to drip down and, like, murder me. Anyway, so sorry if I snot into the mic. I'm trying really hard not to. But the one you reminded me of was that my youngest kid, who is 2 now, he pee-peed on the potty. Woo! For the first time.
Really?
Dude, My oldest son has been like all up on his junk, like, yo, he's got a potty train. He's got a potty train. And I'm like, he's a little too young. Like, he doesn't, whatever. Also,
Yeah.
I'm fucking lazy. That's like extra work.
Oh my God, it's so much work.
I know. It'll be great when it happens, but I'm like, I just got him dressed and I don't want to get him undressed. Just go in your diaper. So my older son has been like, oh my gosh, come here, come sit on the potty. And I've gone with him a couple times to like help the little one sit on the potty. And then my older one gets all excited. Like he gets a sticker for trying and like has a sticker chart put up for him and all this stuff. Yeah. My older one's a bossy motherfucker and he likes being in charge. So he was doing that whole thing. And then last night they were taking a bubble bath and my older son was like, he needs to try. And so Lee was like, all right, whatever. Like we're getting naked for the bath anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to try. And my youngest one loves those fucking stickers. So he got so stoked and he peed in it and we're like, oh my God. And so he got like a donut sticker and he was fucking pumped. And then he looked at me and he was like, I want another one. And I was like, well, you got to pee on the potty to get another sticker. And he was like trying and like pushing. And I meant like, you know, later. You got to pee on the potty later. But oh my God, it was so cute.
So cute.
So it'll probably never happen again. AKA, I probably won't keep
for
trying.
like another,
but
year.
yeah. But I was so proud of him. I'm like, damn, kid, get it.
Look at him.
My first one was like, I mean, he peed fine, but like the poo, oh
Yeah.
my God,
yeah.
that fucking took forever.
Yeah.
I just want to be done with wiping all of it.
yeah,
Like,
the
I just want to
wiping-
sit on the couch.
I feel like the wiping is going to take forever.
Okay, don't worry about me. I'll
All
be
right.
fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you guys want to hear about some fucking murder today?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so this week I am going to tell you about Maury Troy Travis.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me about Maury. And I was
Like,
like, what'd he get into?
Provich, what's his name? Maury
Isn't it Provich? Maury Povich. Not
Povich.
Povich.
Yeah. Yeah, not that Maury.
Is he not the murderer?
The test results have revealed or come back. What does he always say?
You are not the
The lie detector test determined that
was a lie.
was a lie. All right, so Maury Travis. For the record, it seems like this is kind of a well-known case, but like there's really not. There wasn't a ton of articles to go digging in. Okay, so Maury. Maury Travis was born October 25th in 1965, and he was born in St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis? St. Louis?
Missouri. Every time I read St. Louis, I want to say St. Louis. Because of that song, Take Me to St. Louis, Louis, take me to the fair. He lived and grew up in Carr Square Public Housing Complex,
Oh.
which I don't know if you're in the area. Maybe you fucking know what the hell that place is all about.
Public housing doesn't sound like it's the best neighborhood.
Pretty sure that's the projects. But, yeah, so not the best neighborhood, I'm assuming. And then he lived there until 1975, so till he was 10. And then he moved to a ranch house in Ferguson.
Okay.
In 1978, his parents got divorced and his mother remarried and then divorced again in 1993. So, you know, his dad left the picture at a certain age. Some other guy came in, whatever. There isn't too much on Maury's childhood, but nothing really like stands out or jumps out or indicates that he's going to go on to do what the fuck I'm about to tell you he goes on to do. Like he didn't torture animals. He didn't piss the bed. He wasn't fucking abused that we know of anyway.
Yeah.
So
He didn't have that, like, child abuse trifecta or whatever.
yeah, like that typical serial killer characteristics. He didn't have those. One of his old neighbors described Maury as very quiet and respectful and that he would sometimes mow their lawns without like asking or anything. Like he
Yeah.
would just go out and do it to help them out. Other neighbors had absolutely no recollection of him because he was so like unremarkable. That's a terrible thing to say about somebody, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he was just quiet. So they were
Yeah.
like, I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, he wasn't a bad kid. He wasn't a good kid. He was just a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Additionally, no one from his high school remembered him, which I'm not quite sure how many people they interviewed, but everybody's like, I don't remember Amori or whatever.
Okay. Can I say that I feel like this would be me? Like, if
me
they
too.
went in and were like, from people from my high school, like, do you
Yeah.
remember Aaron? Everyone would be like, mm-mm.
No.
And middle school?
Yeah.
Maybe elementary school, people might have remembered me.
Oh, that's
there.
where you shined?
That's where I shined, but then my parents fucking switched up my whole school shit, and then I was no longer in with the cool kids.
That is my whole life because my dad was in the military.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nobody's going to remember me from anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Okay, so nobody remembered him from high school, but also he wasn't even in like the high school yearbook.
Oh.
So I don't know if he just didn't show up for picture day, but don't they usually put your name with like no picture?
Yeah.
Or maybe the article I read this from was just like, you know, in like all the side activities, he was never in any of the pictures, but like same.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I just went to school and then I went home.
Yeah.
And then I fucking watched Forensic Files and played The Sims.
And then wondered why we are here now.
And why nobody remembers us. Okay, so nobody remembers him from high school, but an English teacher recalls that he was a student in her class. He was there.
He did exist.
He was there, all right?
No. The records are correct. I remember Amori.
There was a single soul who remembered, an English teacher, and she was like, he was a good student, but he was quiet, like everybody's saying. But he wasn't just, like, quiet. She was like, he was quieter than the other kids. Like, he was abnormally quiet. And that makes me think, like, how? You know? Like, how can he be more quiet than someone else? Like, he didn't even shuffle his papers. Or, like, he wrote so delicately. Do you remember when, like, your mechanical pencil would be like...
Oh, yeah.
When you'd write, and he'd just be like, nope, break off the fucking lead and start over. Like,
not doing that.
What?
Not doing that. How are you more quiet?
I don't know. And then that made me think maybe he got in trouble at home for being loud.
Oh, maybe.
But I don't know.
Speculating wildly.
It sounded like everything was chill as fuck, and he was really nice.
Yeah.
Nice, quiet, reserved kid.
Yeah. Some kids are just quiet. I was a quiet kid.
Whatever. We fucking get the fact that Maury was quiet as hell. And nobody remembers him, but he was a decent person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Maury graduated in 1985, and he served 2 years in the Army Reserve working as a medical and dental assistant.
Oh, okay.
He also took a few trucking jobs with a local company, and he volunteered in nursing homes. So homeboy sounds fucking decent as hell. Like,
spot on.
Volunteering?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like... No, they won't let you, like, volunteer at a nursing home for...
Credit.
Well, what's that called? Oh, my God. I'm fucking mom-braining so hard today. Community service.
Oh. Yeah, they're not going to put you with, like, old people.
They actually might. They might be like, go fucking mop the floors. Because I used to work at a nursing home, and I remember that they did community service. Like, you could go mop the floors for community service. But it was a big nursing home. Okay, so he was, you know, a decent guy, helping out in nursing homes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe doing community service. We don't really actually know. But maybe he was just a nice guy helping.
Maybe.
So, all of a sudden, around the age of 22, Maury becomes addicted to cocaine.
Ooh, okay.
Not a good one.
Who offered the quiet kid coke?
I don't know. He had a $300 a day habit.
Damn.
Yeah. And he quickly ran out of cash, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And so he decided to rob some shoe stores to get some money. Okay. I don't know if he was taking the shoes or the money, but I do know he used a toy plastic gun to do it.
Okay.
He was arrested for this, and he pleaded guilty to the robberies and everything. And he explained to the judge, like, hey, I had a really bad drug addiction. That's what caused me to do this. I'm actually a very nice person. Like, you know,
ask anybody. Normal guy.
Ask anybody who remembers me. But like,
ask nobody.
Yeah, but I'm a normal guy.
Ask Mrs. fucking Robinson.
Yeah,
from
over
English.
in English. Yeah, she knows I was quiet. You know, like I'm a normal guy. I have a disease or whatever, and so I've gotten help. I went to rehab, and I'm doing better. Like, please go easy on me.
Yeah.
Well, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison for the crimes, and he was 24 years old at this time when he was sentenced.
Mm-hmm.
A few months into his sentencing, he wrote the judge a letter explaining how terrible the conditions were in prison. He explained that he was suicidal, and if not for his caring cellie, he would have taken his own life by now.
Aww.
He complained of rapes. Not that he was raped, but that, like,
it was happening.
There were rapes happening in the prison, right? So he's like, this is a terrible place to live, which, I mean, one, it's prison. But two, I mean, 15 years is a lot. And I'm speculating wildly here, but this is a black dude, so I'm wondering if, you know, that might play into why he got 15 fucking years for robbing some places with a fake gun.
Yeah.
Now, I will also say that I didn't read a ton of articles, so he says it was a fake gun, like a toy gun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was or not, or whatever. I did not do my research, because that's not what we're about around here. So, now that we got that out of the way.
I mean, 15 years is pretty excessive.
For some shoe store robberies?
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I said that kind of in a weird way that made it sound like maybe you were unsure how I stood. I agree. I feel like that's a lot considering nobody was harmed.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much he stole. I don't know any of the fucking details.
Okay, yeah.
But also when you hear shoe store robbery with a toy gun, you're like, meh, not the highest of my concerns.
It was a teenager.
15 years is a long time.
That's a long time, yeah.
He's 22, and he comes forward and he's like, I have a drug addiction, whatever. So that's why I think that it was so intense. Maybe I'm wrong. People don't hate me. Whatever. I'm speculating wildly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's writing the judge, right? Like, people are raping in here. I want the fuck out of prison.
This is a shitty environment to live in.
I'd like to not be here. Yeah.
Can I talk to the HOA or who do I contact?
Who do I contact about the fucking shrubs across the way that are way out of control? They are just,
They painted their cell door red, and it does not fit with the motif.
gives me a migraine. Oh, God.
Can we get the lights in here changed?
The fluorescent is just killing me. Spray paint one of these motherfuckers. Okay, so he's talking about the rape and the cramped living conditions and the terrible food. And I'm not sure if the letter did anything for his sentencing or whatever, but after 5 years, he was released on parole.
Okay.
It's now June of 1994, and he moves into a duplex. The whole address and everything is in the articles if you're like, I live in this area and I want to know everything, but I did not feel like stating the exact location of his duplex.
He was on 7443.
Yeah. Which, whenever it's in, like, San Diego, I want to know everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, where? But then also, I'm like, okay, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, on 4th Avenue, 3 blocks down from the 7-Eleven. I'm like, okay, that's a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Pinpoint his motherfucking location. Somebody's listening and in that duplex, like, Jesus Christ, what?
They're like, what happened here?
All right, so he moves into a duplex. His neighbor, who shared the wall with him, describes him as a great neighbor, and they never had any problems.
Because he was quieter than average.
Exactly. She said, in fact, her son used to sit on the front stoop with Maury, and they would, like, share beers and just hang out.
That sounds so relaxing.
I fucking want to be doing that right now.
Yeah.
Maybe not with Maury, though, because he's going to turn out to be a bad guy.
Yeah, maybe not with Maury.
Meanwhile, this whole time, Maury is still doing drugs, a.k.a. cocaine, and
I thought he went to rehab, man.
Yeah, well, he did, and then he got out of prison, and he was like, you know what was fun back there? When I did cocaine.
Yeah.
And he was working as a waiter at a few different restaurants.
Okay.
Now, I'm not telling this story in, like, I'm leaving shit out. So some stuff is going on during this time. I don't have, like, all the chronological details, so I'm going to catch you up at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But just know that during this time, when he's living in this duplex, drinking beers on the stoop, being all friendly, and doing occasional drugs, he was fucking some shit up.
Okay.
All right? So one of his coworkers who worked with him at a restaurant recalls that Maury was always preaching to him the dangers of drugs. Like, hey, don't do drugs, man. Fucking crack is whack, right? Just slip that one in there for you.
Uh-huh.
And he was also always talking about how much he loved his 2000 black Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Oh, baby, I always wanted one. Always wanted one. I get it.
So he fucking loved his.
Yeah. 2000.
Ooh.
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 What year is this?
What are you, a waiter?
Yeah, that's a nice-ass car.
Yeah. Fucking drug money. I don't know.
That is, well, that he was doing drugs.
I don't know. Maybe he was selling them too.
Maybe.
I'm speculating, but
Not
like shit,
producing them. Man. That was like what I wanted.
Was
for
it?
the longest time.
A
Yeah.
black one too?
I mean, I didn't care what color it was. I wanted an Eclipse.
Yeah.
And I settled for a fucking Lancer. Because the Eclipse was way more expensive, and I was like, I could buy a new Lancer.
Your Lancer
they're
looked like a shark.
It did look like a shark, and they were like, it's mean mugging. And I was like, okay. And then the guy was like, now, people are going to think that this car is really expensive. And I was like, now, I don't think you understand that I'm never going to wash it.
Now, I don't think you understand that my friends don't give a fuck.
No, exactly. Anyway.
Okay.
Fucking Mitsubishi Eclipse. Guy is living the goddamn dream.
Living the goddamn dream with his coworker. Mm-hmm. And then his coworker was like talking to him, and he was
Here,
like,
wait,
hey.
you said he was in love with his Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Yeah.
That was it? That was the end of it?
Yeah, like his coworkers recalling that he was like always talking about like don't do drugs and shit, and also he fucking talked about his car nonstop.
Okay.
And one time his coworker was talking to Maury, and he mentioned how his friend's car was stolen one time, and that it ended up burned down in East St. Louis.
Okay.
And Maury was like, hey, that would be a great place to dump things because there's never any police around there.
Okay, weird thing to know.
Weird thing to know. Also, I feel like he'd be like, not my car. Like, why would you tell somebody who was like, I love my car? They'd be like, yeah, my friend's car got fucking jacked and burned down to the ground.
Probably because he was tired of hearing about this guy's car. And he was like, you know what could happen to fucking cars? They could get stolen and burned out.
In East St. Louis.
Maybe if someone really coveted your car.
Yeah, and he's like, if you could get rid of some things over there.
Yeah, and he was like, that's a great place to burn out a car.
But it was obviously weird enough that his coworker remembered it, right? He was like, okay, how the fuck do you know that? Mm-hmm. Now, his coworker's girlfriend, she worked for a local news station and was also friends with Maury. Mm-hmm. And Maury was like, hey, have you run any stories lately about a local serial killer? And he said that he had heard through the grapevine, through some friends, that someone was dumping bodies in the area, and those bodies were specifically prostitutes.
Okay.
I guess...
So he's out there on the fucking street phone?
Yep, he's out there on the street phone. He said, Hooty Hoo! And they were like, prostitutes!
Prostitutes! Hooty Hoo! Prostitutes!
And so she was like, what the fuck? No, I haven't been hearing this. And so she goes and pitches the story to her boss and is like, hey, I've been hearing word is on the street.
Word on the street is
toots are coming up dead in East St. Louis.
Okay.
And her boss was like,
fucking run with it, Jane.
No, her boss was like, I haven't heard shit. Get the fuck out of here. Give me my coffee. I don't know if he said that last part.
Oh.
I made all that up.
Oh.
But basically her boss was like,
you're a woman.
We don't have a story.
Get out of here.
I like how we're like putting our own fucking spins on shit.
And
He's
our
probably
own
a really nice guy.
insecurities.
Yeah, I don't really know him.
The boss is like, get out of here and get me Spider-Man.
Yeah, but essentially she couldn't do anything with the story. Like they didn't have
Yeah.
any information, whatever. It wasn't a fucking story.
Yeah, but she was like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is super crazy.
And then she investigated it on her own, and she became the main character in a book.
No. So 3 months after this little conversation where she went and pitched it to her boss or whatever, police issue a public announcement that
There's a fucking serial killer?
that they suspect a serial killer.
3 months?
3 months later.
Goddamn.
Because women were popping up dead everywhere, but the police were like, they're prostitutes, there's drug addiction involved, like their bodies were dumped in random places. And so because of their demographic and also the year and also I'm sure short-staffed police, whatever the fuck you want to say, it didn't get a lot of press, right?
Mm-hmm. But
was
now
like-
they're like, we've had enough. There's probably a connection.
Yeah, and the police were also like, hey, we don't know if there's a serial killer, right? Like, we just know this keeps happening. And then 3 months after fucking Maury home dude was like, hey, word is on the street that we got a fucking serial killer. 3 months after that, the police were like, you know what?
There actually might be a serial killer.
This might be a serial killer. And so they issue a public announcement, and they're like, yo, motherfuckers, watch out. Prostitutes are winding up dead.
Bolo for a serial killer.
Exactly. Then on March 21st, a Post-Dispatch reporter, which is like the name of the fucking newsstand is Post-Dispatch, right?
Yeah.
He's a reporter. He receives a letter in the mail from an anonymous person praising the recent story in the news about all the murdered prostitutes and the serial killer, right? So he's like, thanks for running that motherfucking story.
He got a letter from someone that was like
Anonymous and was like, that's a great fucking story. Good job on running that shit.
Just loved hearing about it.
Exactly. And then along with this letter was a map of the local West Alton area, and there was an X marked on it.
Nope. Don't like that.
In the letter, the anonymous person explained that another dead prostitute could be found at that location. So the police get involved, and they go and investigate, and right where that X was marked, they discovered the skeletal remains of an unidentified woman. So she had been there for a while.
Oh my God.
Right? So now the investigators are like, okay, the serial killer is now reaching out to us.
Yeah.
Like, we gave him some press, whatever, and it's working. It's baiting him in.
Fucking hook him.
Let's get him.
Book him, Lou.
Let's fucking catch his ass.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, obviously he has a fucking ego. He wants the media coverage. We've got to catch this guy or he's going to keep killing.
Yeah.
So they focus on the map because that's really, the letter in the map is the only fucking evidence they have, right? And it was obvious that it had been printed from an internet service.
Ooh.
Like, you know, it wasn't like a fucking map that you get at 7-Eleven or something.
Yeah.
Home dude printed it off his computer.
Uh-huh.
The investigation uncovered that it was a map specifically from Expedia.com.
Mm-hmm.
And so the investigators went to Expedia and they were like, hey.
We need fucking all your hits on this spot.
Exactly.
In the last month.
Exactly. They were like, who used this map between May 18th, when the article was written, and May 21st, when the letter was postmarked. So, like, those few days, who used this fucking site? And
That's so specific. I didn't know they could do that.
It's so specific.
I mean, I would guess that they could now, but, like, goddamn, I didn't know they
Early
could do that
2000s,
shit.
fucking had no idea.
Yeah.
Early 2000s, you're like, ain't nobody know me, I'm on the internet.
Yeah.
I can make my live journal page whoever the fuck I want to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're like, hey, Expedia,
Yeah.
who the fuck used this shit, right?
Give us this information. And Expedia was like, oh, we don't have that.
Exactly. Expedia was like, whoa, that's not my job. You got to go talk to Microsoft. Like, they provide all of our maps and everything.
Yeah.
So investigators go and they subpoena Microsoft.
Oh.
Now, Microsoft was able to uncover some information. They found that on May 20th, a computer zoomed in on the map of West Alton, Missouri, 10 times in chronological order to end with the exact match of that map.
10 times?
10 times. So home dude was like, enhance, 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 enhance. They're like, we've got our fucking computer. We know the user who did this shit, right?
Yeah.
And Microsoft gives the investigators an IP address. They're like, here you go. Here's the motherfucker who's doing this shit.
Yeah.
And that IP address was then taken to WorldCom Inc., which provides local phone numbers to connect internet services to their dial-up customers, right?
God damn.
We are going through a motherfucking loop.
Who are we going to call next?
And they were able to determine that on the night of the 20th, the user MSN/Maury Travis, fucker didn't even have like a unique handle. He wasn't even like...
Well, he probably didn't think all this shit was possible.
I know, but he used his first and last name, man. Like, come
was
on.
like, definitely not Maury Travis.
Yeah, right? Okay, wait, it gets better, though. So they find that it's this user, MSN/Maury Travis, that was using the computer during that time.
Yeah.
So then the investigators went back to Microsoft, and they were like, hey, who is MSN user /Maury Travis?
And they were like, I believe that's
Maury Travis.
Maury Travis at MSN.com.
Exactly. And they were able to give them like an address, a phone number, and everything linked to the account.
Yeah.
Side note, everybody was like all up in arms because they were like, they didn't even have to fucking get a warrant for this information. Like they just subpoenaed them. Like they were just like, hey, I want this information. And then Microsoft was like, fuck yeah, we're going to help you. Like, here you go. You're the police. Of course we're going to help you.
Yeah, well, there was like a whole ass body found.
Yeah, there was like a whole ass body. But then the thing is like, is your information protected? Should they have to go through a judge to get a warrant?
If there's a body? No.
Well, I mean, like legally.
I know laws
Yeah,
and shit all the time. But like, I don't know, man. If I have a body and someone was like, hey, can you tell me who was pointing at this body earlier? And someone was like, they have rights. I'd be like, the fuck they do?
Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, I just happen to have this map here for you and the username. You don't have to ask me.
Yeah. I would just hand it all over.
Just, oopsie, I'm going to leave this on my desk. Go ahead and copy off of me if you'd like.
We all go to lunch at about 12.
If I'll, of course I'm so clumsy, I leave my notes all the time. All right.
Anyway.
Now we know it's Maury Travis. We have his address. We have his phone number.
Yeah.
So on Friday.
So we call him up.
And we're like, hey, Maury, what the fuck? No,
What you doing?
On Friday, July 7th, the police come to Maury's home with a search warrant. By the way, they like hung out in front of his house for a little bit and they were like, is this motherfucking Maury? And then they were like, that's motherfucking Maury. And then they were like, we got search warrants. And they bust in or they knock on the door and they're like, hey, Maury, are you home? And he answered the door and it was early in the morning. So he was asleep and he was like, what the fuck are you guys doing here?
I didn't think you'd come so soon.
Actually, he didn't say that. He said, wow, it's really early is what he said. Because he never once questioned why they were there. He was just like, wow, it's really fucking early. And they were like, yeah, man, we've been staked out all week. Like, what the fuck?
Like, yeah.
Come on
we
in.
waited until morning.
Yeah. So he answers the door, right? He lets them come in. I guess his living room was set up almost like a fucking fireside chat, like all the like ottomans and couches were in a circle or whatever for conversation. Also, he had a cat, and the cat kept walking up to all the investigators, and every time one of the investigators would try to pet the cat, I guess Maury would, like, tense up, and he went and, like, picked up the cat and, like, put him in his lap. Like, don't fucking touch my cat. Isn't that weird?
That's really weird.
Really weird and very specific. I didn't put it in my notes, but I figured I'd tell you because it just felt right, you know?
It did, yeah.
All right. So they come in and they question him. He deflects every question they threw his way. And it was like obvious deflects where it was like, what did you have for breakfast? And he'd be like, I don't know. What did you have for breakfast? Like that kind of fucking conversation.
Yeah, like not smooth.
Yeah, not smooth at all. And it was obvious that he wanted to like control the conversation. Mm-hmm. He never denied anything, but he never admitted anything either. He was more interested in learning how they had found him. So he wasn't like, oh, I didn't do that. He was just like, well, like what brought you here? Like, how did you know that I lived here?
Yeah, like what led you here?
Exactly. How did you get that information? And eventually the investigators told him about the map, and he replied with, quote, fucking computer, damn internet. I don't know. It said like expletive. It's like explicit. It said expletive, so I'm guessing that it was fucking computer.
Fucking computer.
Damn internet. So like, you know, the moment that they're like, hey, we fucking caught you on this map. Yeah. He's not like, I didn't use that map. He's just
I don't
like,
even know what a map is.
Yeah.
He's just like, technology. Got me again. If it hadn't been for this meddling technology.
Exactly. So they bring him in for questioning. And during the questioning, Maury says that he was born like this. Because they're like, what's going on? Like, why'd you do all this? And he's like, I was just born this way. And like with these like deep desires. And he never showed any remorse through the whole interrogation. He was just like, yeah. Actually, articles said that he didn't view these women as like human or like he didn't feel bad at all.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to leave you very unsatisfied because I'm not quite sure why he targeted prostitutes, these particular women, why he had such issues. I don't know. Oh. Like, I don't know if he was abused or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why this is his quote unquote type.
Yeah. Why he was born this way.
Yeah, why were you born this way?
Also, what is this way?
Oh, I'm going to tell you.
Oh, okay.
So and that's why I was kind of trying to explain that. It's not in chronological order, so I apologize.
Yeah.
But, you know, kind of a lot of shit goes down, so I kind of sum it all up. Now, in the investigation, or in the interrogation, he admits to paying for prostitutes. The investigators also mentioned that he only ever showed affection for his mother, so there was, like, no affection for anybody else in his life. Maybe his cat. But, like, his mom, he was like, I fucking respect her, love her, adore her. Mm-hmm. Fucking was all about his mother. Mm-hmm. So now back to the house where the police are, because they got the warrant, right? They go searching through it to see if they can find any evidence to link him to all these murders. And they find some fucking shit.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if this is the condo or if this is a different house, but the walls were splattered with blood, basically all over the fucking house. They found restraints that were covered in blood, belts that were used to strangle and or break the women's neck.
God damn.
And they were, and hidden in the walls were videotapes of several women depicting Maury and these women partaking in like bondage and rough sex that would turn into torture and eventually their deaths. On tape, he would record it. So he would like lure these women in or whatever, like purchase their fucking services for tootin' under the guise of like BDSM, that he was like a dominatrix or whatever. And then that's why they would allow him to tie them up. Yeah. And then he would just like keep it going and like go too far and then kill them and torture them. Sometime for days, these women would be there. And he fucking videotaped it.
That's terrifying.
That's super terrifying. Oh my God. And he fucking videotaped it and then hid it in the walls. Like, and I guess the videotapes were like really random, like very generic names, like family wedding.
Yeah. Taxes 2009.
And then you'd pop it in and it'd be like, whatever, this shit. Also, he would have the women like say their names or whatever on videotapes. So that's fucking creepy. But
and also like evidence. It's just straight evidence.
Well, it isn't though, because most of these women were dealing with drugs or prostitution, right? And so they would give aliases. So some of them actually have gone unidentified because whatever name they gave wasn't their real one and they can't figure out like who they are.
Oh, that's really, really sad.
Isn't it really sad?
It's almost like he was trying to make it so that they would all be accounted for. But they thought that they were going to get out alive. Obviously.
I don't even know. Like, I think he would just like, fuck, man. I don't know. You only record something to rewatch it for yourself, right?
I mean, unless you're trying to make like a manifesto or whatever. Like a fucking document your fucking skullduggery?
Oh my God, I don't fucking know. But his basement had been converted into a torture chamber. And this is where he would like murder his victims and had his little fucking camera and shit set up. He would then load them up and dump them like trash around the city, just in random spots. He would just dump them until somebody discovered them.
Yeah.
Or until he fucking mailed a goddamn map with an X.
Jesus.
So during the interrogation, the investigator brings up the fact that they find interesting stuff in his basement, and Maury dropped his head and he said, quote, "I am toast." Like he knew once they found that, like, I'm done, right?
I'm toast?
Yeah. And he kept saying, I'm not going to go back to prison. Because remember, he was in prison before and he wrote a letter to be like, get me the fuck out of here. I can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So he just kept saying, like, over and over again, I'm not going to go back to prison. I'm not going to go back to prison.
Sir, the fuck you are.
Yeah, you have no fucking choice.
Yeah.
So obviously he was arrested, and the investigators start gathering evidence to take him to trial for all the bodies that they have, right? They got to link him to each person.
Mm-hmm.
3 days after he had been arrested and interrogated and everything, he was found dead in his cell. He had committed suicide, and he was found with a pillowcase over his head and his hands tied behind his back. He was 36 years old. So now the coroner was like, yeah, it's a suspicious way to die, but it was definitely a suicide. And I have heard of people like tying their hands and shit so that they won't like undo it and, you know, to actually.
How do you tie your hands
themselves.
behind your back?
You just tie them and then like step over.
He's a man.
He could lay on his bed and fucking do it.
Most men.
He's a man.
I think. God damn it. I feel like most men aren't flexible enough to do that.
Yeah, I didn't get like a fucking tap in on his, you know, flexibility.
Touch your toes.
But I feel like you could if you wanted to.
I don't think Brandon could.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you have nothing else to do all day. You can spend all fucking day trying to get your hands behind your back. All day.
How do you get the pillowcase over your head once your hands are tied behind
well,
your
you put
back?
the pillowcase over your head first.
Well, then you're trying to go blind to get your hands behind your back?
Also, is the pillowcase the thing that killed him? Like, did he put a bag around his head? I've heard of this. Like committing suicide by putting a bag around your head and like tying your hands up and stuff so you don't like get yourself out.
I have not heard of this, and I feel like Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Well, yeah, for sure. Also, this guy was on suicide watch. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Maury Povich didn't kill himself.
His name is Maury
Travis. Maury Travis, that is a fucking suspicious death. And I feel like somebody
Yeah, but like who
like
would
it.
kill him? Like
a
why?
cop.
Yeah, but like
me.
don't you want to know?
You're a fucking torture murderer.
Don't you
You're a
want to
serial killer.
know the rest of the story before you kill him?
Then a cellmate.
And,
And
like-
fucking another guy in prison was like, I
don't think
respect
he had
women.
a cellie at this point. I don't really know.
Like how you call them cellies.
Could you imagine though being a cellie and being like, I'm gonna kill myself, and you're like, dude, all right, you're just sitting there watching it.
Make sure it looks like suicide?
Yeah,
Maybe
I don't want
help.
to be suspected. Yeah, maybe that's how he got the bag over his head. All right.
Also, will the bag kill you? I feel like the bag has to be tied tight.
What was a pillowcase? But I wonder if it was like tight enough to where like eventually you just like run out of oxygen. I don't know. I don't know the details, but home dude killed himself.
All right.
And it
I'll
was
take
like
your
for
word for
fucking
it.
sure a suicide, according to everybody that I read. That was like, by the way, if you're questioning this is for sure a suicide. So now you're making me suspicious that it wasn't a suicide. But I still don't understand the motive of killing him yet. Because it was 3 days.
Maybe somebody liked one of those toots. Maybe one of those cops that arrested him was a fucking friendly
John.
with one of the locals.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So
And he was like, she was my favorite. She's how I got through the week. Friday night. Could always rely on Cheryl.
motherfucker killed Cheryl. So now since Maury's dead, we don't really know what happened to all the women other than like what was documented on the videotapes. But every woman wasn't documented. It was like they got a handful of them, right?
Yeah.
But he was actively murdering between July of 2000 and May of 2002.
God damn.
11 women were murdered and found dumped throughout the city, and they're all suspected to have been Maury's victims. Again, we don't have much confirmation other than the ones that they found in the videos, and then some that have DNA evidence. It's sad because, as I mentioned, these women were mostly prostitutes and they were black, and their deaths sparked very little media attention, which is why he was like getting all pissed, like, hey,
Yeah.
let me send this map, and that's kind of what like sparked it all up. But it's so fucking sad because like what the
It's
fuck?
people
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah, you think we should know about this? Like,
Yeah.
nah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna gloss over it.
That's fucking scary.
That's super scary. In his letter that he wrote to that fucking reporter, he claimed that he had killed 17 people, but police have only linked him to 11.
Ew.
Now, I'm going to tell you about the victims. Again, there's not a lot because most of them are kind of unidentified, but I'm going to tell you in order that they were murdered.
Okay.
The first body was in July of 2000, Mary Shields. She was 61 and found in East St. Louis. Next was Alyssa Greenwad. She was 34 and was found in Washington Park. 36-year-old Teresa Wilson was found in West Alton. Betty James, 46, was found in St. Louis, and she is actually one of the victims that was positively identified on the videotapes found in Maury's homes. So we know for sure her name is Betty James, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. She also had tire track marks on her leg from when Maury had run her over after, like, dumping her body.
Oh, my God.
And those were linked directly to his vehicle. I don't know if it was the Eclipse, but I'm guessing it was the Eclipse. Because you don't get a new car in 2000 and get rid of it in 2002.
Yeah.
All right, so next is Veronica Thompson, and she is found in West Alton, too, also. And she was only 16 feet from where Teresa was found. So you kind of had, like, a common area there.
God damn.
Yeah. Yvonne Cruz was found in East St. Louis, and Maury's DNA was in her. Like,
Ew.
Spermsies.
Spermatoa.
Oh. Spermatosis. Anyway, 33-year-old Brenda Beasley was also found in East St. Louis and had semen DNA in her, on her, whatever, fucking, there was jizz.
In or
everywhere.
around her.
The remaining of his victims remain to be unidentified. I guess in the videotapes, like I said, they were, like, giving aliases and stuff, so it was hard to, like, link them to, I'm assuming there wasn't, like, missing persons reports or anything for these women.
Yeah.
Because they're living on the streets. They probably don't have much contact with their family, so it's hard to link them. So most of them are unidentified. One woman was found near death, but she survived, but she was unable to identify her attacker. But police suspect that it was Maury.
What?
That's fucking crazy.
How'd she live?
I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying is, like, so the story, it caught my eye because I was like, hold up. Like, they fucking found him off of an internet map. That's crazy. And then also, who the fuck uses Expedia for a map?
Yeah, right?
That's weird.
Even then, it was MapQuest.
Yeah. What the fuck? I don't know. But that caught my eye, and that's why I got, like, sucked into the story. But really, it doesn't tell you that much about, like, the order. I mean, they tell you the order that the victims were murdered, but, like, what was he doing in between there? You don't really know. He actually went back to prison a few times in there for fucking drugs or some shit.
Oh my God.
But he kept getting out, like, after not too long. So he'd, like, kill somebody, end up in prison for something unrelated, and then get out and go kill somebody again. Like, this was over the span of 2 years.
Jesus.
But also, it was crazy to see the dates. I didn't write the exact dates, but, like, it'd be, like, a couple within the same month, you know, like, days apart.
Yeah.
Ugh, fucking Jesus. And then can you imagine just being like, I don't know, I've just always been this way. And Home Dude was just like a quiet, decent guy. But in his head, he was like, I am so into fucking dominating somebody that I need to torture and kill them to get my rocks off.
That's so fucking scary. Think of that lady's kid who would fucking hang out with him on the stoop.
Oh my God, there was one of his girlfriends. Her mom was interviewed, and her mom was like, he was so nice. Like, I really liked him. They dated for a while. Her daughter and Maury had dated for a while.
Oh my God.
And she was like, I really liked him. Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
Talk about fucking secrets.
Yeah.
So if you want to go check out pictures pertaining to that case, go to isgdpodcast.com. Also, come join our Patreon. There's links on our website. And for $1, you can hear an extra episode every month. Or for $10, you can get all the fucking video evidence of everything that happened for us to record this episode for you and all of our past episodes. There's a million. There's tons to binge on.
Yeah.
So come join us. Also, come join us on social media at ISGD Podcast. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and TikTok.
Boom.
Shit, growing, bro, growing. Come join the Goddamn Pod Group. It's I said Goddamn Pod Group. It's just called Goddamn Pod Group. I said it. I said it and I nailed it. That was fucking muscle memory.
That's on Facebook.
And then my brain checked in and was like, what's it called?
Where am I?
Also, email us at isgdpodcast@gmail.com. And finally, Erin is going to take us away with some snail mail.
You may snail mail us at P.O. Box 2764, Spring Valley, California, 91979. Bye.
Bye.